Hi, how are you? Very good day. Welcome everyone. Let's get straight to the point. In today's video, I want to cover something very important, which is on-chain analysis, so we can look inside the Bitnest protocol to see what's happening. This way we can better understand how the contracts work, how the wallets function, and internally, how all these operations are carried out. So let's get into the subject. I have already identified the main contracts and wallets that the Bitnest protocol works with. And I want to show you here live how everything works. So for example, we have this contract ending in FB24E, which is the one that pays us the rewards and bonuses from the Teamwork Network. So this is one of the return contracts for the shared commission of the Bitness team. The return on investment and the team commission return use different contracts to execute their respective operations, which greatly improves the efficiency of contract execution and the security of each user's funds. So here on the right hand side, we have the history of my wallet, my token pocket. If I go into the history here, I'll see that this last transaction, which was made on March 2nd at 10:48 in the morning, comes from this contract ending in FB24AE. Look, FB24AE, right? So what's interesting is that here, thanks to everything being on a blockchain, I can go in, I can check the transaction ID within the Binance Smart Chain Block Explorer. I can see the entire agreement here, the transaction. This is the transaction ID. I can clearly see the specific withdrawal call, and I can also observe the associated contract, as I previously mentioned, which is identified as FB24AE. This particular contract, FB24AE, is precisely what we are examining here in detail. Therefore, in this comprehensive view, we are able to meticulously review and confirm all the pertinent information which is being displayed to us live and in absolutely real time, providing immediate and accurate insights into the ongoing processes. We can see the path of each of the operations, and so to get into the subject, that's why I wanted to start with this one, which is the one we'll look at the most because it's the one that pays us commissions. Notice that here I have another transaction from FB24AE. This one is from contract 3121, which corresponds to Bitnest loop. So if you opened a Bitnest loop, you will interact with this contract ending in F3121, as we see here, F3121. Look at it here. And this way, you will understand very well that the Bitnest loop has one contract and the Bitnest box has another contract, which is the one ending in F849. And so here we see it interacting with our wallet, the F3121, which is the Bitnest loop contract. As you can see here, it manages the pool within PancakeSwap and returns our liquidity plus the profits directly to our decentralized wallet. This is what the contract ending in F3121 does. So to see it live, I want to show it to you here so that you can be absolutely certain that what is happening on the blockchain can be fully tracked and monitored. So first we're going to use the saving box here with just a $1 test so you can see it live. That's why this video is called On-Chain Analysis. And here we're going to put in $1 just so you can see it live. I put in $1, confirm the deposit, and I want you to look here on the right at the history. Do you see it? It asks me to authorize the interaction with the contract. I confirm the operation, and you are seeing it live here. Look, 95E2. The operation is currently pending and awaiting completion. And there it is, just look closely. There it is, finally appearing before our very eyes. Here in a few seconds, it's already complete. Do you see? So here we can see the operation on the Binance Smart Chain. That's why the video is called On-Chain Analysis of 95E2. It's the transaction, and we are interacting with the contract, which is exactly this particular one. Look at it closely. This is the one from Bitnest Box, a well-known and established entity. This is the contract we're interacting with. So once we've ruled this one out, I'm going to show you here live. We're also going to open a Bitnest loop for $1 so you can see and verify in the on-chain analysis that everything we're saying in the video is actually happening on the blockchain. I'm going to set it for 1 day. I'm only doing this so that you can see in this video that we're approving the contract here. Notice that's why I set it up like this in real time so you can see it. I confirm the transaction, and here I clearly see that it's being actively used. This specific code we see here, just so it's absolutely clear to you and everyone observing. The Tether token, a widely recognized and utilized cryptocurrency, possesses this unique and verifiable contract address, right? You will certainly be able to locate and observe it too, confirming its authenticity and operational status. Look at it here, 7955. 7955 is the specific contract token for USDT. However, in this particular instance, we are actively communicating with the Bitnest proxy, which handles the necessary interactions and facilitates the connection. Look at them. 7526E is this code. 7526E. What does the Bitnest proxy do? It receives our liquidity. It's the address of the Bitnest loop contract. When we participate in the circulation, this is the contract address that interacts with our personal decentralized wallet. The preset operating logic will allow our funds to interact accordingly and successfully complete the circulation of our investment. So this was the most interesting part of the video, being able to show you live with the history of my wallet, a history that you can go and check in the Binance Smart Chain Block Explorer to see how it works. This is the transaction ID, we have the block of the operation, we have the timestamp, which you can see is March 2, 2025, and this is the UTC time. Remember that UTC is the Universal Time Meridian or Universal Time from where to where, and in this way we can see how we are interacting with the proxy. So once this is clarified and the contracts are identified, this is the proxy, this is the Bitnest box, this is the Bitnest loop, this is the Bitnest proxy contract, which is the one that pays us the network commissions for the teamwork we do with our Bitnest team, if you'll pardon the redundancy. This wallet, the F20928, is responsible for not charging us the fee. This wallet is always funded by this contract. The Bitnest loop from Bitnest provides it with liquidity so that we are never charged fees for withdrawals. If you notice, that could have become a problem that would require our approval. So to avoid that, the protocol provides liquidity to this wallet and it assumes the withdrawal fee. That's why when the contract ends, you automatically receive it here without having to pay the fee. This wallet is paying it for you, and this wallet is the address used as the storage address for the management fee. The private key for this wallet has been abandoned, meaning just as the smart contract is created and then the management of that contract is renounced, the private key for this wallet is also renounced to ensure that no one has control over this wallet and no one can move it, recreate it, or take it anywhere else. And the general purpose of this wallet is to prevent us from being charged that withdrawal fee so that the transaction can be carried out automatically by the smart contract without depending on someone to approve or pay that fee, that operation. Remember that the fees being paid are within the Binance Smart Chain, right? Because the Bitnest platform itself does not charge us a single cent for the operations, but a payment does have to be made within the Binance Smart Chain to receive this transfer, and that payment is made by this wallet. That's why I was telling you that this video is purely on-chain analysis. And this is one of the contracts that I also identified, which I will explain to you in a moment. But first, I wanted to show you this on-chain analysis within my own wallet so that you can feel at ease and see and understand the role each one plays, their description, ID, and function. Besides that, I'll also share the link with you, right? So that you can go in and take a look and see how interesting this is, which is also key for you to understand. This contract manages this pool within PancakeSwap, which I'm going to open here, and this contract manages this other pool within PancakeSwap. They are two different pools that we're going to look at, and then we'll move on to the next part of the video. So the first pool we saw here, which is the Bitnest loop, as we're seeing here, Bitnest loop, is the pool that has USDT against USDC, but it's not the only pool managed by the Bitnest smart contract within the decentralized exchange called PancakeSwap. We also have this other significant liquidity pool, which is specifically for USDT against wrapped BNB, and within this particular pool, there are approximately $7,600,000. Furthermore, in the USDT against USDC liquidity pool, we currently hold $19,470,000. These aren't the only two pools. I'm going to keep investigating because I found others that I'll tell you about later. But with this, we can already cover the most important part of the heart of Bitness, which is understanding how we interact with our wallet one-on-one with these contracts and in these wallets. So now look at how interesting this is. Using the same Binance Smart Chain, the block analyzer, the block explorer, you can create something called tags. So here I can add something called private name tags, which basically means assigning a name and a note to a wallet so I can identify it. That way, when I use it in bulk, I can understand what interaction I have with each wallet and each contract. So here I took on the task of adding them to Binance Smart Chain, each one with its tag, and I created this watch list that allows me to know at this moment the wallets and contracts from business that I am analyzing. All of these, look at 3121, which is the business loop. Here I documented them so it's very easy for us to see. The business box, which is F849. The business proxy, which is 57526E. The business contract, which is FV24AE, which is the one that pays the network rewards. This wallet is the one responsible for paying the fees or gas for the transactions when the smart contract, upon completion, automatically sends us our liquidity plus the rewards, or better said, the profits, to our wallet without us having to do anything and without the contract getting stuck, because there's no one to pay for that. So that's precisely what this particular wallet does. And this specific one is the smart contract that effectively manages the entire 3121 liquidity pool between USDT and USDC. If I meticulously take these precisely 6 distinct addresses and their associated contracts, it comprehensively gives me a substantial total management of an impressive $27,119,080, specifically managed by the innovative business protocol. So we genuinely don't just have what merely appears here, but a much more extensive and significant financial oversight. Remember that what appears here, these 22 million, corresponds practically and exclusively to the business loop. Only to the business loop. Notice that here in the business loop at this moment there are 19 million, and in the business box there are $7,623,555. So here it becomes much clearer the power that business has and how it is managed and orchestrated masterfully through these smart contracts. Here we also see that the wallet that pays the gas fees has liquidity. Right now it has $6,000. The rest are at zero. Look, zero, $3, zero. And the ones that have the liquidity, the business loop, 19,489,000, and the business box, 7,623,000. That's why it's so important to do this on-chain analysis so you get an X-ray and a better perspective of what's happening underneath at the heart of all the on-chain analysis. So I went a step further, right? Because, I don't like to keep information to myself and I share it with all of you so you can see. I did the same thing within Arkham Intelligence. Just like on the Binance Smart Chain, I created labels to make it easier for me to understand so that when I'm looking at this, I know this is the business contract when I see this ID. This is kind of like domain name resolution, right? Instead of seeing hotmail.com, I would see an IP address. It's the same here. With this wallet, this contract, I already know it's the business proxy with this ID. I know it's the business box and so on. So I did it the same way inside Arkham Intelligence. And I want to show you this because this is extremely important for you to realize just how powerful the strategy that business has managed to develop is through the use of this smart contract to manage these pools. So far, I've identified 2, but there are more. Once I finish identifying all of them, I'll share them with you. I really haven't seen this kind of on-chain analysis before. I don't know if anyone else has done it. If anyone else has done it and has more data, I'd appreciate it if you could share it with me. I'm sharing what I found, and that way we can build on it together to complete it universally. So, to keep from getting lost in all this data, I did the following. Let's filter out everything that's not categorized, and now the picture becomes much clearer. Look, notice that here we can already see PancakeSwap, which is the decentralized exchange you see here, this bunny with its ears up. That's the address for PancakeSwap. And here we see business with its 4 addresses, which I already told you about, how I labeled them and created that group, which is the one you see here. But for me, what gave me the most certainty, peace of mind, and confidence was seeing that this pool or these liquidity pools that business created and manages through these smart contracts are not just used by us investors. Look who's using them. BSwap, a decentralized exchange. Dodo, a decentralized exchange. SwapTuna, Tuna, a decentralized exchange. Odos, a decentralized exchange. 0EX, another decentralized exchange. Paraswap, another decentralized exchange. Bitget Wallet, a prominent platform from the well-known Bitget exchange, which you undoubtedly already know. Within the decentralized finance ecosystem, we have notable protocols such as Alita Finance, DAOSwap, BabySwap, and Uniswap. This is GibX. This is NomiSwap, a prominent decentralized exchange. FST Swap is another robust platform. OKEX Web3 is a comprehensive gateway. We have Wintermute, a leading algorithmic trading firm. OpenOcean is an advanced DEX aggregator. The NFT Manager is a specialized tool. We have Rango Exchanges, a powerful cross-chain aggregator. This is a custom wallet providing enhanced security. The decentralized exchange MDEX is a key component. Unicent is part of this comprehensive network. So, let's realize that this is a highly used pool because of its high effectiveness and great efficiency. Otherwise, do you think all these decentralized exchanges would be using Bitnest? And this can be verified graphically by using Arhan Intelligence. I invite you, as I've shown you in other videos. Here I wanted to show it visually so you can see the absurd volume of transactions that are happening here in real time from Bitnest to PancakeSwap, as we can see here. Notice the truly enormous number of real-time transactions currently being executed from the Bitnest smart contract that effectively manages the various liquidity pools within the PancakeSwap decentralized exchange, and these particular pools are actively being utilized by all of these diverse exchanges. Why? Because of the great effectiveness of the Bitnest pool using the PancakeSwap pool. So we can clearly see here that this particular pool is incredibly effective and remarkably efficient, so much so that it successfully moves an astonishing $33 million within a mere 24-hour period. And the other pool, which is USDT against wrapped BNB, I repeat, there are more pools. As soon as I have the others identified, these are the two most important ones, because one is managing the Bitnest loop and the other, this one, is being managed with the Bitnest box, which guarantees us a 0.4% daily return. And look, this pool has $7,800,000 and moves $108,840,000 in 24 hours, generating fees of $10,880 every 24 hours. And I'm just scratching the tip of the iceberg. That's why I'm interested in showing you this, so you realize that we're looking at a project with enormous skill and technological effectiveness, and above all, with millimetric precision in its programming. In other words, this is not a scam or a Ponzi scheme where money is only made by recruiting new people. No, here the money is being generated by a smart contract, majestically coded, programmed, and executed, which has been running for over 700 days, as we can see here. Look at how truly interesting this process is. You simply take the existing contract, then carefully copy it, bring it directly into the robust Binance Smart Chain, and then you paste it right here. You execute it. Here we are, F3121. You come here where it says internal transaction, and here you can see the execution time of that contract. Yesterday it was 700 days, today it's 701 days of flawless, majestic, transparent execution. So that's all I wanted to share with you in this video. I hope that with this information, all those skeptics out there, I understand you, believe me, I really do, because I was also a victim of many scams. Sometimes being a pioneer means you fall for things, you're testing things out, and you end up battered, hurt, and losing out. You even end up tarnishing your reputation because sometimes you want to share good things with others, but it turns out you didn't look into it well enough, you didn't investigate properly, and you ended up being scammed and helping your family or friends get scammed too, or even many times your own life partners, your husbands or wives. But let's understand that what we're dealing with here is something completely different. There is a huge abyss of a difference between a scam, a Ponzi scheme, and a technological project like this one. So that you understand, and just to say goodbye, it's as if we had an artificial intelligence like Jarvis, the one Iron Man used, and we gave it liquidity like what we have right now and told it, you have to generate the maximum possible returns with this liquidity, and that's it. That's what the smart contract is doing within the decentralized exchange PancakeSwap. It is constantly checking which pools offer the highest returns while taking on the least possible risk. Notice that here we have a pool of two stable coins, and here we have a pool of the stablecoin USDT with the native token of the Binance Smart Chain network, which is extremely stable, one of the most stable and secure options available. So these two pools, which have already been identified and which I'm sharing with you today, are the ones being managed by the Bitnest Loop and the Bitnest Box. With that, I'll say goodbye. I hope this information is extremely valuable so that you, at home, stop relying on excuses and justifications and stop holding back from taking action out of fear, which I am addressing for you in this video. Remember that fear is a natural response to an unknown situation, but once the situation becomes known, the fear should disappear. And here I am showing you with data that you can go and check, compare, and validate on the blockchain. So you can see that this is not some phantom project. This is not a scam. This is simply technology applied to maximize results with the money you are investing. Remember that here you are putting your money to work for you. That's another concept we were never taught. We were always taught to trade our time, our knowledge, our strength, our skills for money, but we were never taught to make money work for us. And that's what Bitnest is doing with us. Bitnest is not just about making money, it's about gaining information, financial intelligence, and quality of life. Think about everything you can do when you have a machine that works for you. This is like if you had bought a property to rent out and you no longer have to worry about generating income because the rent from that property is providing for your living. Here, the money you put into the Bitnest box or the Bitnest loop is working for you every day, 24/7, 365 days a year. So this is very different from anything else we've seen in our lives and in our experiences, and we can't judge everything from the past by what we're experiencing here. Here the smart contract has shown us how it works, how it's programmed, how it's triggered when each Bitnest loop period ends. You can see it in real time, and I've recorded it in a couple of videos. You can see how much time is left on each of your contracts. Look, I did this one in a previous video. It has 23 hours and 37 minutes left. This was the one we just did, sorry. 23 hours, 37 minutes, 32 seconds. This one is 2 days from expiring, this one is 3 days from expiring, and this one is 5 days from expiring. Remember, we don't have to do absolutely anything. The contract ends and automatically, in 30 or 40 seconds, this amount goes directly to our wallets without us having to do anything at all and without us having to pay the fee for this, as I showed you. This wallet pays those fees. Look at this wallet. Sorry, this one. Number 6. Wallet that pays the gas fees for all the transactions. Not even Bitnest lets us pay the fees for those operations. The developers even thought of that. Well, I won't go on any longer. That's all I wanted to share with you. Until next time.